Shalom from Jerusalem. I'm at the Jerusalem Tower Hotel, and we're waiting for a phone call. So I thought this might be a good time to do the report. So, just to verify where I am for later dates, that is Jerusalem behind me. That big white building is a landmark here in, how do I get it where the sun doesn't hit it? There we go. That's a landmark here in Jerusalem, very close to the hotel. So this report will be similar to the previous report. I'm just going to do it off the cuff from memory. I don't have anything written down for this or no PowerPoints to show. It's just been too busy to do anything like that here. I have done some teachings while I've been here. What we're doing is Kelly from Kelly Covey from the other side of the mountains in Washington. He's taking the PowerPoints, turning them into text, converting them into text, and then sending them to me, and then I put them in a program that does that's a teleprompter. So I can just insert the text, then I can take this phone anywhere, set it up. There are some difficulties. I mean, if it's windy, I can't do it because it'll blow over. This is sitting on a little thin tripod. It's about 3 feet. It folds up about this big, but then it goes into like 3 feet. And I hope I don't get sunburned sitting here like this, but I may have to move it in a minute. But put it on the teleprompter, and then I do the teaching. So that works out pretty well. So far, it's worked out pretty well. I don't know about some teachings that are heavy on the graphics. Not sure how that's going to work. So I'm just going to do this off the cuff. A lot has happened since last time. Last time I shared with you guys, I was about 50-50 on, maybe even less, that this was actually going to work out. I knew it was worth the chance to try and get the land here and put a house on it. So I moved forward with it, as did all of you. Everybody, this ain't just a me thing. You know, you guys, if I didn't have you guys, this wouldn't have happened. There's just no way I could have just come up with that kind of money by myself unless I was working, like back in web development or something. So you guys are all a part of this. And you guys have given like crazy. I'm amazed at how much you all have done. That's why I'm here today, to ask you to give more. No. No. That's what I know a lot of pastors that would do that. But we're okay. We're good. We're doing fine. I will express a few money concerns, but we're not there yet, and we may not get there. So, but I will express them to you just because it's on my mind. I'm not asking for money, and I'm not saying to give anything as of yet. There could come a time, when I'm like, here's the situation. But right now we're good. So, a lot has happened. So I was like at 50-50, if that. Now I'm at 90-10. I'm pretty sure this is going to work. But there is that 10%, and there's always that 10%. I was talking to someone the other day, or might even been on one of the walking tours I've been doing. I remember, and this is a long time ago, and this is very rare, but it's an example. years ago, and I even showed the video to one of our classes. That might have been in Quincy, though. And Peggy would remember it, Nancy would remember it. It was a time when, because of the peace talks between America and the Palestinians and Israel, Israel gave some land back, or gave some land to the Palestinians. And there was a Jewish settlement there. I'm sure Peggy and Nancy remember this video. And they literally the IDF had to drag those poor Jewish people out of their homes, out of their businesses, so they could give that entire area to the Palestinians. And it was one of the most heartbreaking videos we've ever watched. Every one of us was so angry when we finished that video. I'll have to show that one time at Wenatchee. I don't think I showed it at Wenatchee. I may have, but I don't think I did. So, and then all that land that those people had purchased, or that, built their lives on, they just got ripped from them. So there's always that 10%. And there's even more possibilities than that with us, because, they could decide when they look at the title, when they look at the paperwork. I don't think this will happen, but it's always possible that they say no. At any point during this, while we're bulldozing, they could say no. I mean, things can happen, but it's not likely. I do have a very keen awareness that the adversary is going to do everything he can to stop this. But so far, he hasn't done a very good job. I mean, he's done a lot, but the things that were crucial, he hasn't been able to stop as of yet. He's done a lot of things to stop them, but they didn't succeed. So this week we went to Har Gilo, and I want to explain this because some people that were watching said they didn't understand, and I'm sure that it's confusing. So I want to explain this as best I can. So Har Gilo is a community. It's a settlement. We're settlers. You and I are settlers. So whenever you see on the news, they're talking about the settlements, that's you they're talking about. So take it personally. I know I do. So Har Gilo is a settlement in Jerusalem. And they're their own little kind of community. That's the way settlements are. And so we had to not get a permit from them. We have not had to ask for any permits. The only time we will have to ask for a permit is when we decide to build on the land. That's the only time. They said very clearly, multiple times, they said you don't have to have a permit to live, you have to have a permit to build. Well, mobile homes are not considered building. So, but we still had to get their permission to cut through the fence. And that cost me $1,500. I had to pay Har Gilo $1,500 so they would cut through the fence. There's a fence between the community and our property. And they still haven't done it. They were supposed to have done it a couple days ago. Then yesterday they said they couldn't do it because it's raining. I'm hoping today they're doing it. And I'll get to that in a minute. So then we had to go, we called the IDF. And they said that they will put a fence, once they cut the hole in the gate, then we'll clear it with the cats, with the caterpillars, put the house on it. But then we're kind of out in the open, which isn't a big deal, honestly. It's within the Israel boundaries. Any Arabs that are in the area, they're Israeli Arabs. Not that they can't cause trouble, because they can. They did in Tel Aviv. They have in different places. But it's pretty rare, because if they get in trouble, they get kicked out, and they don't want that. They don't want to live. There's not an Israeli Arab here that wants to live in the West Bank. They got it too good in Israel, and they know it. But sometimes they'll have a relative that comes that doesn't care about the relative they're staying with, and they go out and they cause trouble. It happens. But if you look at the stats, as because, well, that sounds dangerous. It's more dangerous in America than it is here. Well, you have terrorist attacks. Yeah, we have terrorist attacks. Look at how many people get killed in Israel per year by terrorism. Then look at the stats in Los Angeles or even Seattle, how many people get killed per year. And they're pretty close. Probably worse than the cities in America. So, and I mean, even Vancouver in Canada, downtown, right? And yet my brother, I always call him my rich brother, he used to have an apartment right downtown. So did Arnold Schwarzenegger. So did Jean-Claude Van Damme. And they stayed there. And my brother lived there. So it's like that. Jerusalem is one of the safest places in the world. And if you've been here, you know that. Peggy could verify that. Nancy would verify, or not Nancy, Peggy would verify that. My in-laws would verify that. They've been here. My nieces have been here. So next time you see my nieces, you can ask them to say, yeah, it's very safe. My nieces are like 15 and 16 years old. They could walk downtown Jerusalem 3 o'clock in the morning by themselves and be safe. Can't do that in Seattle. I'm not so sure they could do that in Wenatchee. I wouldn't let them. Not at night by themselves. So, so the IDF said we have to have certain paperwork. They said we have to have the receipt for the land, which we have, and the title, which is what we're doing now. We don't even have to actually have the title. We just have to present to them that it's in the process, and it is in the process, and we're going to have the title in a few days. So we're very excited about that, because then there's no way to contest that once we have all that. So that's pretty exciting. We're not probably going to get this done by the time I have to fly out of here. The time we had arranged for me to fly back out of here. So we're going to try to extend the ticket. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. We may not be able to, but I'll still stay here. Hopefully until this is done. That's some of my money worries, but I think we'll be fine, even if I do that. It is expensive here. I mean, I'm spending $115 a day at the hotel, and that's a great price here. I mean, a lot of the hotels are $300 up per day. So hopefully, and I've saved up before this trip. I was putting money away, just for those, to either stay in Asia, if that's the way I was going to go, for tickets for Asia, blah, blah, blah. All the money that was donated towards the land, I still have all that. I still got that from everybody. I've got all of it. So, and if this doesn't work out, I'll go home and I'll offer it back to whoever wants it. We'll say, we couldn't do it, or we'll do it at a later date, or what have you. But I'll offer the money for those who don't want the money back. We'll take that money and I'm going to put it in there's an Edwards some bank or something like that. I was talking to Justin about it, and they give you like 5% on it. So like he said, within a few days, if I get an account with them and I put it in, I can make I think he said in a year I can make like $1,000. And that would go towards my next trip. Instead of just putting it in a bank and getting very little interest on it, put it in this Edwards. I can get more information on that and give it to you if you're interested. But I'd rather it does almost like an investment, and I'd make some money that would go towards my next trip over here. So that's what I would do if everybody was okay with it, and and they don't want the money back. That's what I would do. with whatever's left. Plus, I think I'm going to take some of my own money. I'll take all my own money out of the bank account and put it in that as well. Might as well have it all working for me. So that'd be great. So anyways, we were supposed to go up there today, but I was told we're actually waiting for a phone call. And that makes me nervous because, what if we don't keep calling? What if they just forget about us? Or what if they, we need to be proactive in this, and that's not always possible with the situation that I'm in here. I try to push, but if I push too much, I don't want anybody getting angry and just throwing up their hands and saying, forget it, I'm not going to help. Even though it's for everybody's own good in this. So I'm walking a tightrope here, and it's a bunch of hurry up and wait, miscommunications, cultural differences. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and it's incredibly stressful. But that's the way it is. The way I explained it to Kelly and to Justin, I said, it's like waiting for the cable guy for 2 weeks, day and night. It's like if they don't show up, you're just always waiting for them to show up, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. And if they do, if you miss it, then they're like, well, then we don't get cable. It's like we don't get cable, and they don't get cable. Because it's also for them. So, I mean, they may be doing the best they can too. I'll give them that, but it's not the way things are done in America at all. It's very, very different and incredibly frustrating, which is why I didn't want to do this in the first place. That's, long time ago, I was contemplating just selling the land to Mark, my brother. And part of it because he was my brother, but the biggest part of it is because I knew it was going to be like this, and I didn't want to go through it. I would just as soon not do this. It's put my nerves on edge. It's been a terrible time for me, and I'm just constantly biting my tongue because I don't want to just blow up when I see stupid things happen. So I just, somebody wrote and said, God is testing your patience. And I wrote back and I said, been there, done that. This is just a review. So, that should be a t-shirt. That should be a t-shirt or a bumper sticker or something. God is not testing my patience. This is just a review. So we went up to the property again yesterday. I walked the whole perimeter, and when I was coming back, a rainbow. Maybe Rabbi Yosef could show a picture of that afterwards. I'll send him the picture. It's actually 2 rainbows appeared as I was walking back through the land. And it's just like it was right over the land, these 2 rainbows. Yocha was very excited. She thinks it's a sign from God, and it could have been. You never know, but I'm not ready to say that it was. It would be something I ask Hashem when I get to heaven. I'll be like, you remember those rainbows? Was that... Did that have anything to do with me? Yeah. And Ariel was convinced that it was a prophetic sign. I guess we'll see. If it gets shut down, then that says something about... That's why you should never say something like that. Because if it doesn't work out, then you're saying... It's like it shows your credibility concerning your discernment, being able to discern between a prophetic sign and not something not being a sign. So it's better to say possibly, could be, ulai. In Hebrew we say ulai, maybe, perhaps. So we'll see. But when we do, and if we do, meet with the IDF and they agree to that fence, that'll be huge. That'll be huge. And if Hargilo people cut that thing, that fence, so we can start moving in the caterpillars, that will be huge. That'll take me from like 90% to like 95%. So, in some ways, I'm in a better place because we do believe this is going to happen, one way or the other. And now that I have the idea that Justin gave me about taking a cruise, now I have hope that if I do have to sign more papers at a later date, I could do it. Because before I'm like, this is it. It either goes or it doesn't go this time in this amount of days. So I've softened a little bit on that, mostly because I know I could come at another day on a cruise. And I think I went over that last time. I could get some really good deals on cruises if I perform marriages and stuff like that on the cruise ship, or I take what do they call it again? Shifting. What is it called again? The shifting of the cruise lines. So that at least makes it possible if something happens. What else? I went to the Cotel yesterday. Some of you have been doing the walking tours. I'm amazed at how many people like those things. Because it's just me, with the camera, and it's not a good camera. I mean, they're not. I'll stop if it's a really important shot. I'll stop for a second, let the camera rest on it. But most of the time I'm walking, and I'm sure the camera's going like this. And I have better cameras. But if I was going to do that, I would have had to pack the cameras, the batteries, da. And I was trying to travel light, and it was not my main concern. Doing videos over here this time is not my concern. Now, when I come over in 2024 with Justin and a few other people that want to go, I think Kelly's going to go. I'm sure Peggy will want to go on that. It's going to be a tour. Kelly's going to bring. He's done some professional work, camera work, video, all that stuff. He'll bring his equipment, and we will do some videoing. We'll go on a video bonanza, and it will be done professionally. You'll see the sites. I'm going to share. I plan on taking them to like 20 different sites. I'm hoping Rabbi Yosef will be able to go on that tour, because he's going to do some. He's going to renew. What's his name? Justin's going to review or redo his wedding vows, and he's got some friends coming on that tour as well, friends and family. But then after the tour, those people will go home that want to go home, and the rest of us will stay for like a month. And I'm going to take them, and I'm hoping JD will be able to do this. He'll need to start saving up his days off and stuff, and I want to take him to as many sites as possible in preparation for the day when I won't be able to take tours anymore. Which, even though I can do the cruises for now, that's not going to last for long either. I'm gonna be retiring from the tours because it's still hard. It's still not easy. I still got to fly 5 hours. Got to fly another 5 hours. I can do it, but I don't like it, and it hurts, and I don't like going through that kind of pain. So, anyways, I want to do as many sites as possible, so that they could, like, you go on a tour, you do maybe, I'm just going to spitball this, say you do 20 sites in the whole tour. Well, that would be one tour for like Rabbi Yosef. And then Justin, he wants to get his ordination and become a rabbi. Then he would do a tour. They can even do them simultaneously, however it works out. So then he would do a tour of certain sites, and then they'd switch. And they'd take these people to these sites that they hadn't seen yet, and he would take these people to sites they hadn't seen yet. Well, say that's 20 sites and 20 sites, that's 40. Well, I want to be able to take them to enough sites in that month where they could do 3 years of tours, taking them to all different sites. Now, some sites are the same. You go on, pretty much. It's not 100%. Depends on the people you got. It depends on what you're doing. But usually on every tour, you're going to go to the Kotel, right? Everybody's, I want to go to the Kotel again. So there are some sites that you repeat. But usually, you take them to different sites. Which it really doesn't have to be that way. Because I could take people to the Kotel 3 different times. And they would have all new information each time. There is enough to talk about there to where you can do that. You could do it like they have that tunnel on the side. You could take them down in that tunnel one time and just spend an hour, 2 hours. You only got so much time per site because people get tired. They can only stand for so long, right? So you could do that on the next time you go to the Kotel. You just talk about the Kotel itself. Take an hour to talk about that, or even longer. Then there's another time you can do what I did the other day when I was down there and go to the side of the Kotel. There's a bunch of archaeological digs going on there right now. In fact, I saw like 3 different digs going on down there. The results of which by the way, you will probably never hear of unless you worked on that dig in America or you live in Israel. So you could do that for another trip. So there's some sites that are so big that you can spend a lot of time there showing them stuff. But then there's other sites like Magdala, which is quite small. And you could pretty much cover everything that you need to in one visit. I've been there a couple times and still love going there. But for the purposes of a tour, it could be just a one-time visit. So we want that month to just hit as many sites as possible. So they have a repertoire. And Kelly's going to be videoing all of these and recording what I say, looking at each thing that I point at, and then putting them in a library for Rabbi Yosef and for Justin and anybody in the future that they may ordain or want to work with them for their spouses. You know, their spouses might want to learn this stuff. You never know, for whatever. So that will be very, very valuable. That'll be very, very good. So other than that, I've been recording more teachings, recording as many teachings here as I can. I'm broadcasting from Jerusalem. So that kind of gives them a little bit more. How nice it'll be if we get this house on there, then I can find a permanent place. It is just unbelievable. The view up there is unbelievable. I mean, every time you see it, and it's not just me. Everybody I take up there, it's breathtaking. The magnitude of it it's overwhelming for anybody. I just look at their faces and you can see it. It's all over their faces. They're just like, They just go into like almost like they've been hit with a stun gun. you know. So how nice it'll be if we have that house that I can and get the guest house on there. We already got the money now for 2 houses. We were given the money for a second house. So how amazing it'll be! I'll set up like a little platform there somewhere with that view behind me of all of Jerusalem, or another time I can turn the camera a little bit and I'll have Bethlehem behind me and Beit Jala and Beit Sahor, the shepherd's fields of the New Testament, and do some classes. I'll set up a really comfortable chair there. That'll be amazing. So, if it all works out like it looks like it's going to happen and the way it looks. So, I'm excited, but I'm trying to keep that a little bit suppressed or under control, because I do know things can still happen, and if it doesn't work out, it's just going to be, I don't even want to think about it. I really don't even want to think about it. It would feel like a death in the family to me if this doesn't work. So, yeah. So that's about it. I went a couple times to eat at a little Ethiopian street shop here. Had some injera and some tibs. The injera that you guys tried was actually better than the injera I had here. It was much better. But it was still good, and it was fun, and that's why I've gone there twice. And I even got Lulit, or one of our workers in Ethiopia, on the phone, and she talked to the owner, and introduced him, and they talked about some food and what I should order, and it was fun. I had a good time. The guy is actually Catholic, the owner. I thought he might be either Muslim or Greek Orthodox, because I heard him say Ahlan when he got on the phone, but he actually said Ahlan, which is different in Amharic. Ahlan is what you say when you greet somebody in Arabic, which means welcome. But Ahlan, as she said, I forget what it was, something like, what's next, or what can I do for you? Something like that, I forget what it was. So she thought he was Greek Orthodox. So then I asked him, I said, he might be Beta Israel. So I asked him, he can't speak English, so we talked he doesn't speak much Hebrew. He's been here 3 years, but he hasn't learned a lot of Hebrew. So we talked, and we were still able to communicate. So I asked him, Ata Beta Israel, are you Beta Israel? And he said, what's that? He said, Mazeh. So I told him, I said, Yehudi mean Ethiopia, Jews from Ethiopia. And he said, no. He said, I'm Catholic. Catholic. And I was like, oh, wow, because there's very few Catholics in Ethiopia. Very, very few. Roman Catholic. So later on I told Lulit, and she was surprised too. She thought he was Greek Orthodox. And the owner really likes me. When I walked into the restaurant, it's just a little, like 3 people sit at a bar. It's like a bar type thing, but it's not a bar. It's a restaurant where you sit at the bar, kind of like a sushi bar, I guess you could say. Maybe 1, 2, 3 seats there, then maybe 2 seats on the side of the bar. And there was only 1 seat available when I walked in. The rest are these, black guys from Ethiopia. And when I walked in, they were playing music on the TV for the second time. The first time they had a TV show where they were doing Ethiopian folk dancing. And it was really nice. It was very wholesome. And I was like, wow, that's very cool. This time I walked in, they were playing Snoop Dogg. So, They were all enjoying Snoop Dogg, some of the older Snoop Dogg videos. But when I walked in, I mean, the place just froze because those customers had not seen me there the prior time. So they were like, what is he doing here? Right? Why is this guy here? Because most foreigners don't go to, over here, they don't go to Ethiopian places. They don't even know what Ethiopian food is. They probably wouldn't even recognize what that restaurant is. There's no signage that says Ethiopian restaurant, but I saw the Amharic. And since I've been dealing with and been friends with Lulit and her husband and talking about Amharic, I recognized it. So I went in and I saw that he was cooking, so I realized it was a restaurant the first time. But so I'm in there I come in the second time, and all these guys just froze. They didn't even know what to do. But then the restaurant owner came out and saw me. He was so happy. He's, oh, hey, good to see you again. And, some in Hebrew, a couple words in English, not much, but a couple words. And then they quickly turned off the Snoop Dogg and put on the Ethiopian music, which is much calmer and softer. And slowly, one by one, those other guys left the restaurant. So by the time I finished my dinner, I was the only guy left in the restaurant. So, and I don't think they were being, racist or anything like that. I think they were just a little uncomfortable. They didn't know how to behave, because I bet some of them had never really. These guys were from Ethiopia, and they probably hadn't had much interaction with people from other cultures, other than maybe an Israeli here or there briefly. So I didn't blame them. It's totally understandable. So that was fun. And then before that, I took Ariel and his wife and his friends out for sahlab, which is this dessert. It's a milk-based dessert. It's almost like a pudding, almost, but not quite. You may not even see it as a pudding, but it's actually, a lot of people will call it a pudding. And it's got cinnamon, coconut, and rose water in it. It's another one of those things that I don't know if foreigners would like it. I'm not convinced that they would like it because of the rose water. It is definitely for some an acquired taste, but I've had it since I was a kid and I love it. It's a hot drink like pudding. And it's hot when it comes out of there. It's like lava. So not spicy hot, just temperature hot. So you gotta let it cool down. And if you let it cool down too much, it really does kind of turn into a pudding. Whereas when it's really hot, it's a little bit more liquidy. So I took them out because Yocha had never had it before. And Ariel calls it sachlab. Sachlab, which is the Israeli pronunciation of it, but it's actually an Arabic dessert. So that's why I call it. He's always corrected me on it, but I'm like, it's Arabic. I'm going to call it the Arabic word for it. He's a bit of a purist, which is good. That's a good thing, But for me, I'm going to pronounce it. If I know how something is pronounced in the original language, then I'm going to pronounce it that way. So, yeah. But I had to leave because I had to use the restroom. So they were still there, and I didn't get to see Yocha try it. So I texted her and I said, "How did you like the sahlab?" And she's like, "Woo!" She said she loved it. So that was cool. I think they liked it. So we sat down on Ben Yehuda for a little bit, and Yocha and her friend were in the stores while I drank my sahlab. But then I had to use the restroom, so I had to leave early before they got back to try it. So that's why I texted her, because I didn't know how she liked it or not. So then I came back here, and then after that, after I rested for a while, I went down and had the Ethiopian food last night. I made some huge connections this week with various institutions here in Israel. I let them know after I felt we were like at 90%, I felt confident to be able to tell, to kind of get the word out and share with various people. I got various phone numbers, and so I've been talking to them. There are some professors from the Hebrew University that want to get involved with us and I told them if we get the synagogue and the house on there, they'd like to come and teach various courses. There's one that wants to come and do an immersive Hebrew course, an advanced Hebrew course. You can do. Oh, hang on, somebody's here. Probably to clean the room. Give me just a second. I think we're okay today. I don't know if I need towels. Good morning. Yeah, maybe just some towels.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think everything else is okay. Let me get there's a little towel here. I thought I had a big towel that I'd use, maybe not. Okay, I'll just have that one for now. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Good to see you. Ma salama. Okay. So I'll tell you his story too. I got to talk with him for a while. He's the one that does this floor. And I'm sure some other floors, but at least this floor. He's Palestinian, but he loves America. Most of his family lives in America. And I'm sure he's probably Christian. And he's been there a few times. He wants to move over. He's in the process of trying to get his paperwork done. And we've had some good chats. He asked me about me, why I'm here and everything. I told him, I grew up here and I lived in Beit Sahor, which is a Christian village in the West Bank. And that's why I know we talked in Arabic a lot. And that's how I learned it. Not only there, other places too, but also there. He's a super nice guy. So we had a good talk, and he wants to leave here. He wants to live in the States. Can't blame him. Me too. I love Israel. It's my home. I'm sure he loves it here, and it's his home. But it's much easier in the States. And as I get closer and closer to old age, I'm very convinced that that's where I want to live. I don't want to go through this for the rest of through the golden years. I don't want to do it. I'd rather be doing teachings, writing teachings. Everything's convenient. You don't have that daily push that you have to do over here. It's always a push. Doesn't matter what you do here. It's push, 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 or it doesn't get done. And then a bunch of hurry up and wait. And then dealing with infantile, attitudes. It's just maddening. And I'm just biting my tongue and trying to get through this. Yeah. Anyways, it's no fun. It's no fun. There are these moments that are fun, like at the Ethiopian restaurant, and you have moments, so you just try to hold on to those moments. I don't know if you remember the teaching I did, Life Stinks. And there I basically said life stinks as a whole, but then you have these little moments through it, and that's what you really want to hold on to. And just say, there were good times in between, and the family and friends that you have, the the community of Beta Venu, you on times like this, you really hold on to that stuff, and you remember just how important it really is, and your priorities begin to shift because you start realizing what's really important in this life, and you guys are very, very important to me. I don't want to talk much, I'll start crying. So that's just what you hold on to, and you try to get through it. I got to change subjects. Seeing the sights here has been great. It's been nice to see the sights again. No matter how many times you go to the Kotel, it's this very, very special place. And you can feel the presence of Hashem, but you can also feel the presence of the adversary. One of our members on the other side of the mountains was asking, what do you mean by there's this, you can feel the adversary in Jerusalem? You can feel it. It is intense. And I'm not a very woo kind of guy, I'm very down to earth. But even doctors here that aren't religious will tell you they can feel an oppression here. And it's because you can. So you can feel it. You ask them, well, what kind of oppression are you talking about? If you don't believe in the spiritual realm, what is it that you feel? And they're like, well, I don't know. They don't like to they either don't like to think about it, or they dismiss it. It's just the culture. It's just the way people are. It's, whatever. But you can feel it. Mount Zion, directly that way, right behind me. Keep going past the white building. Go another half a mile, and you are at the place where Hashem had his throne sitting. And Lucifer wanted that throne from day one. Not just in the Shekhinah, in the spiritual realm, but also in the physical realm. And he's done nothing but try to get it since. That's why there's always so much trouble. They're throwing rocks from the Dome of the Rock over the over the Wailing Wall, the Kotel, onto the worshippers, the Jewish worshippers down below, killing them, hurting them. That's the adversary at work. So anyways, I think that's all I got for the report. It's really all good news. I mean, going from 50% to 90% is, I called Mom and I told her, and she's just over the moon. She can't believe it. And I told our Torahite synagogue I talked to Dixie and told her, and she said, yeah, I know, I talked to your mom. This was your dad's dream. We can't believe it's actually happening. And it's like, yeah, me neither. I've gone through hell to get to this point. But we're here. And it does look like it's going to go through. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I don't think it's really hit me yet. I mean, the facts are there. I know what I know. But just that it's actually happening is just... It's one of those things almost like you're too afraid to hope. It's like, this is going to happen, but it's just, it's such a big deal. And Ariel knows it, and Yochad knows it's a big deal. And the other thing is that Ariel, I forgot about this, he wants us to start a Beit Din that would be the Beit Din for Torah observant believers all over the world. not just us. Well, don't we already have like a bait den? Yeah, we do, but this is something different. The bait den we have is for Beta Venu. Well, why don't all the other ones just join the Beta Venu bait den? What we're looking to do here is to establish an authority that nobody else has. Okay? So between Rabbi Ariel being the chief prosecutor for the rabbinic courts, we'd have that, which nobody else has. None of the other Messianics has something like that. And then we'd have me, because we have the largest Torah observant community in the world already. So taking those two forces, we can establish an authority that nobody else has. Say some Messianic group says, no, we're going to do the Beit Din. We want to be the ones that everybody comes to in Israel, blah, 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 from around the world. We could very easily say, well, what's your authority? I stand on God's authority. Well, yes, so do we. Right? I whatever. We'll say, look, you don't have the rabbinic courts behind you. Okay? You're also not the largest community. We are. So we have the authority to be the Beit Din much, much better than you do. And they can, of course, say, well, I don't want to be a part of it, and off they go. And that's fine. And that's what I imagine most of them would do. But there will be some who recognize that. And they'll say, you've got the rabbinic courts behind you? Yes. And you're the largest Torah observant community in the world? Yes. Well, I'd like to join. I'd like to be a part of that. Not just an individual, but synagogues, Messianic synagogues. Even the largest Messianic organizations, the Messianic Light, they don't have that kind of authority. They don't have anything to do with the rabbinic courts here. This is something that if we establish it, it could very well be what leads to a Sanhedrin in the last days. Not that we'll be here, but it could be established here. So he's been talking a lot about that, and I think it's a great idea, and we want to do it. I'm trying to keep it more focused on the land right now. Let's get that done first. And then we'll talk about the other things, and also I'm going to bring up, some people who I want to get their ordinations, their Orthodox ordinations, and their certificates of Jewish authentication. But I'm not bringing that up yet. I'm waiting till this other stuff is done, and then try to shift his focus, because he's kind of, he can get distracted, and I can too. I have that same kind of a thing. It's easy for me to get distracted. So I want to keep him focused. I want to keep me focused on getting the house up there, because that's what we need to do now. And then after that, then I'll start talking to him and see if he can continue helping with the other paperwork. Other than that, I'm probably going to we're working on getting my ticket delayed for at least another week, maybe even 2 weeks. I think we should look at 2 weeks, which is expensive, because now we're talking about another $1,400 in hotel costs. That's not even, I'm eating very cheap. I mean, I'm going to eating street food, falafels. I probably had, 15 falafels since I've been here already. I'm trying to keep it cheap. I have had 2 nice meals here, just because it was a really hard day. I wanted to eat something. I wanted a full hot meal, not just a sandwich. So I've done that twice since I've been here, and I will probably do it in the next couple days again. Um, so I'm saving up every penny I can so I can make it last. But it will get expensive. Um, Israel's not cheap. It's just not cheap. I could have stayed for months in Asia on what I've already spent here. So we'll see what happens. I'm just playing it day by day. I can't make any promises when I'm coming home, where I'm going next, because I don't know. I don't know. Also, special thanks to Linda for doing all the paperwork for Torlight Ministries and getting that money deposited, because I'm going to be using that money. That's the money I'm using for the hotels here from Torlight Ministries. And yeah, thank you to everybody for praying. Don't stop. If you need to fast, fast. These are important times. If you want to fast, please do. Please do. Unless you're sick or you shouldn't fast. I'd fast myself, except if I do, I think I'd pass out. It's just go, 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 go. And I'm not even hardly even sleeping. It's just been, the last few days have been, because I have to wake up, because I get up at 7, because I don't know if they're coming or not, and they could show up at 8, or they could show up at noon. They don't tell me till they're here, and I've asked them, please tell me what time, and they say, well, traffic, and it's like, yeah, I know traffic, but still. And sometimes they do give me, they'll say noon, but sometimes they don't, and so I'm just, there's not a lot of being forthright with information. And I'm sure they're doing the best they can. They've gone through a lot, fighting illnesses. She had a fever in the car the other day, high fever. So I guess they're doing the best they can. It just makes it very uncertain every day. So it's like I said, it's like waiting for the cable guy for weeks. And you never know when he's going to come, and you never know when the IDF is going to show up, when they're going to call. And it's just highly, highly stressful. So, but we do our best. We soldier on, and I just keep thinking this will be over at some point. This will be over, and if I can get through it without losing my temper, blowing up, or just saying forget it, and that's happened a couple times. I was like this close. It's like forget it. I want to go home. I didn't say it. I didn't do it. It was just in my mind, but you know. It's ridiculously difficult. And a special thanks to Kelly and to Justin. I've been on with them fairly regularly, and they get a lot of my complaints and everything. I try to get most of the complaints out before I talk to all of you. I'm not doing very good at it. So... it's okay. You'll have to forgive me. And I know it must be hard for people watching, because they'll be like, I can't believe he's complaining, and he's in the Holy Land. I can't believe he's complaining, he's where Yeshua walked. But, I've been here. I've lived here. I grew up here. I've been to these places 1,000 times. Not literally, but many, 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 many times. And so they don't have the same kind of effect on me as maybe somebody who's been here once or twice or what have you. So, but I am glad, I am grateful I'm here. I think deep in my heart I am grateful I'm here. Especially if that house goes up, then I'll really be happy. If it doesn't, then I'll have regretted coming here, because there'll be thousands of dollars that I spent for nothing. I spent $1,500 to cut the gate. Then for the title, it was $3,500, and that's all me and Teresa's money. You know, she's getting $1,000 a month that she's saved up for the last 2 months. She's been working for like, I think she's had three. This is her third check. And then money that we get from Torah Life Ministries every month. That goes towards me and Teresa. And we've spent, all of that came out of our money. So we're getting down to bare bones. But I think we're going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. A lot of people have given a lot, and it's just, that's an amazing thing to see. Just amazing. And we haven't even really started the fundraising. You know, so all the funds that have come in so far have been from members and close friends, like that, just from like Wenatchee and people that are close to Wenatchee, that have a close relationship with Wenatchee, I should say. That's the best way to put it. So I haven't even put the word out in a big way yet. And when I do, when we get that house up there, I think it's going to be a whirlwind. I'll talk about the elections real quick. So the elections are quite close. And I said before that I think that a tsunami, a red tsunami is coming. And I believe it did come. I believe there is extensive fraud happening. Voter fraud, ballot frauds, whatever you want to call it. I don't think, and I've said this a long time ago, I've had arguments with some of our members. I said, I don't think they fixed the problem. And one of our members was very adamant, said, oh, they did this, they did that, they fixed this, they fixed that. And maybe they did fix some things, but they haven't fixed the problem. So I do think there was an overwhelming amount of fence sitters who switched and became Republican. Yes, we did gain like 3 seats, I think either in the Senate or the House, I forget which one, and another couple seats in the other, which is great. You know, we are ahead, but I do not think that reflects what actually happened. I think it was overwhelming. Even the ones that were red and continue to be red, I think a huge amount of fraud happened there, and we still won. That's what I think. So it looks like we're at this point today when I'm recording this. It may not be when you watch this, but at this point we're ahead, and I do think we will win both the Senate and the House. But we'll see as the votes keep coming in. There's still a lot of room for them to cheat, and they will take every opportunity. So that's what's happening with that. Here, we still don't know. We don't know if Bibi is going to be able to put together a government or not. That's all still in the works. And as soon as that goes through, I'll let you know. And I'll tell you my prediction on that. My prediction, it's just a political prediction. I think he will be able to put together a coalition this time. I think people are nervous about what the Prime Minister did in his approach to Russia, and all the people I'm talking to. I talk to people every day. I'm out there talking to Israelis every day. And the common people here do not like what the current PM did, his approach to the Ukraine. They are not happy about it. So if Bibi makes the right decisions and continues to talk about how he's going to reestablish the relations with Putin, then I think the coalition will soon be to follow. Okay, I guess that's all I got. I don't know what my time is. I have absolutely no idea. But hopefully I didn't bore you with all these details and stories. I miss you guys terribly. If the moment I can get out of here, I'll be on the next plane again. I don't know if I'll be going to Asia or not. It depends on a few things, not just if it doesn't work out here, there's other things too. If we can't move the time up for the flight, and I pass my date because I'm still here, I may have to go through Asia to get a better deal home on the flights. So it's more than just one reason. There's multiple reasons to go multiple ways. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. I don't know if this will be the one we play on Thursday. No, this will be the Shabbat one. And then I'll do a teaching next on Galatians while I'm waiting. I think, what are we doing in the other class? I think we're on Galatians. But I'll do one that we don't have a video for. If it's a repeat, then it's a repeat, because I'm going through the yeshiva, and if there's not a video for that class, I'm doing the video here. So it's possible you get a repeat on Thursday night. And it's possible you can get a repeat on a Shabbat too, by the way. If I'm in flight or something like that, you can get a repeat that I made here. But thank you very much. Love you all. Miss you all. And I'll see you as soon as I possibly can. Keep me in prayer. Love you guys. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.